Hello, this video is part of the extra credit, and we're gonna implement conversion based on other events that the user takes, not just the click of the button. So far we completed the app and the app is working fine with all the different iterations. So we are in iteration 6 to make that addition. So we go and stay disciplined to our process. So I'll say this is iteration 6, which is implement additional events. So I'll say 6.1. This is the problem formulation. And the problem formulation define the scope and define the testing. What do you want to do? How will you test it? So the scope here, we're going to say that the user, when the user selects a unit, the conversion takes place. So the user doesn't have to hit a button. In addition, when the user hit the enter key on the keyboard, the conversion happens. How are we going to test this? Well, the same thing. We know how to test all the conversions. So now we know that our conversion is correct. So the user will select feet, and the user will enter amount, select feet as from, and we should see a conversion, because once the feet is correct, selected as from, we'll see a conversion. We'll see a conversion to whatever defaulted on the 2. Then if the user select unit 2, we should also see a conversion based on the change in the unit 2. Then the user enters a different amount, and click enter. So the same units but a different amount, and click enter or hit the done button, and then the conversion takes place. You can specify what the data you want on this. So I can say that when the user select, I said here they will select the feet first, and it defaults to inch. So we're gonna see enter amount. Let's stay with 10. They see a conversion 10 feet to equal 120 inch. Then we'll select a different unit. So maybe we'll select feet again. So then we'll see immediate change 10 feet equal 10 feet. And then we go and change the amount to 100 and hit enter. So we'll see 100 feet equal 100 feet. So that's our testing scenario with its data and expected results. So we go ahead and see if that will work or if not. So that's the scope and the problem definition. So we move then to step number 2, the solution formulation. And in this solution formulation, we're still following the model view controller. This scope does not require any change in the model. It's only changing the events. So no change to the model. And then the view, no change to the view as well. The controller, that's the one that concerns itself with what to do, which is the conversion, and when to do it. So no change in what to do. But on when to do it, yes, there is a change. So we already what to do, we have this in the convert function. We need to capture 2 events. Capture the pickerVIew selection event. How do we do that? Capturing an event, luckily we do not capture the event ourselves. The operating system captures the event. Then the operating system notifies a method, a life cycle function inside one of the inside the component, and that life cycle function is where you need to put what you want. So for the pickerVIew, the life cycle function is called didSelectRow. And we looked at that when we reviewed the pickerVIew before. So if we type pickerVIew again, we found that here selected row, but that was not in the pickerVIew, it was in the delegate. And remember, the delegate is the one that responds to what happens on the pickerVIew. So if we select the delegate, here it is didSelectRow. So the didSelectRow is called by the pickerVIew when the user selects a row in a component. That's the life cycle function. You get which pickerVIew was selected, you get what row, and you get what component with it. We're not going to really deal with that, although you may start to think, wow, if I get all this information, maybe I can change the steps I did for the conversion. Yes, but for us now, we just want to make sure that we implement the conversion when the didSelectRow takes place. So that is the didSelectRow. The second one, and what we want to do here, we can copy and paste everything we put in conversion, or we can just say convert. So we call the convert function from the didSelectRow, and we'll see how we can do that. The second one is capturing the event of the enter key on the text field. So let's see how we can do that. Again, it's the operating system, so let's review the text field, and we will just add the text field. So we'll go back to it from here. Oops, I think I had. Here is the text field. So let's see if we can, so it says here text field supports use of delegate to handle editing notification. You can use this to customize editing behavior, provide guidance when certain action occurs. So the text field itself does not deal with the action that happens. There's something called text field delegate protocol, similar to what we did with the pickerVIew. And here are the events. Text field begin editing, did begin editing, should begin editing, and there's one should clear, and there's one called should return, and this is asked if the delegate of the text field should process the pressing of the return button. And if we want to respond to the pressing of the return button, then we implement that method. But to do that, we have to have a delegate. So we will need to, so the method here is a delegate method, a delegate function called text field should return, which means I need to have a delegate. Well, I can make the same controller, so the controller who is a delegate to the pickerVIew can be the delegate for the text field. Does it have to be? No. You can make your own class that does nothing except being a delegate to the text field. But in this case, that class is not going to have access to the convert function. You're going to have to do some magic to make it see the convert. One of the advantages of making the controller itself the delegate for the text field is that the controller already has everything related to the conversion. And that's what we will do. So let's move to step number 3, solution implementation. And we can go with step number 1 to implement didSelectRow and call convert function. Then we can test. Then we enable the controller to be a delegate to text field, to any text field actually, by implementing or by confirming to the UI text field delegate protocol. Then once we do that, we need to connect the text field to the controller as a delegate, so that we tell the text field that the controller is your delegate. Otherwise, the controller is able to be a delegate, but the text field doesn't know that. So the text field needs to assign the controller to be a delegate. And then we need to implement the text field should return function and call the convert function from it the same way we did with the did select row. So let's go ahead and do that. All of this will take place here inside the controller. The controller is already a UI pickerVIew delegate, so I don't have to do anything other than coming outside all the other functions. And I am folding my conversion here so that you can see the convert function, and start type did select, and it starts with pickerVIew first. So pickerVIew did select row. Here it is, pickerVIew did select row, and here is the long function, and all what I need to do here is to say convert to call on the convert function. So this will be call the convert function to process the conversion. So that's all what I need to do. The convert function already knows what it needs to do. I'm folding it here. So here is everything that we just typed, which is long. So I just folded it by going to this parentheses here for the function, and then come to the side, and in the small gray area, and it's all highlighted, I click on it, and here is the convert. I folded all of it here. So this gives you the ability to see everything in your class without having to be distracted with the details of one function over the other. So here's the convert, so we can now run and test. So I did this one. I'll go run. So we enter an amount because we have a test. Enter the amount, make it feet. So here is the conversion, and the keyboard dismissed when it's inch. So now I change it from feet to inch. Now it changes to the other one. So that was my test that we defined in the problem definition. Now the next step of the test is going to happen once I implement the text field delegate. So I tested and it's working. Now I enable the controller to be a delegate to the text field. So I come here. Here's how you tell the controller what it can be. So the controller is a UI view controller. It is built upon, extends, inherits, all the same thing, a UI view controller. Then it also conforms to these two delegates or protocols, conforms to them. So I'll add another one, UI text field delegate. So that's another protocol, and there is no limit on how many protocols you can implement. There's a limit on only one class library that you can inherit or build upon, but there is no limit on how many of those protocols you can be. The advantage is convert is here. Now that this became a protocol, a delegate, the next step is connecting the text field. So I need to connect the text field to the controller. So I go to the storyboard. Here is the text field. Control, drag to the view controller and say I want it to be delegate. So I want the view controller to be a delegate here. So I click here to be a delegate. And then that is this step. Then the last step is to implement text field should return. So I come here outside any other function and add another function. Now this one will be text field. You can now see all the delegate functions of a text field because we made our class a text field delegate. The one we want is the text field should return. And this one returns Boolean. So we'll do the same thing we did before. So we say convert, and because it needs a Boolean, we'll say return true. say that everything worked fine, so just return true in here. A true is a constant that represents a true value. And we're basically delegating or calling the convert method to process the conversion. So let's test. So now we can test what we did, and we can continue the testing. So we start by entering the amount, and the keyboard is not toggled. Enter the amount, we switch to feet, so it's working. Switch to feet, here it's working. We come back, change it to 100, hit enter, and now it is working. Go back 1000, hit done, and it is working because the text field should return now implements the conversion. And that is the end of the so as you can see, we really don't need the convert button anymore because we activated all the actions on the pickerVIew as well as on the text field. You can challenge yourself with adding more units. You can challenge yourself by using view. Instead of using title for row, use view for row and create maybe an image next to the unit or something like that, or just find something else to add to your skills. There's so much in here. There's a lot to learn about the pickerVIew, a lot to learn about the text field, and about the conversions and the if statements themselves. So that completes the project. There will be one more video to show you a different way of making the conversion that will be based on selecting a dictionary type instead of an array type. However, this is outside the scope of the project, and it is just for, you can consider it an advanced topic if you are interested. Thank you.